Benjamin Netanyahu has offered a rare apology to Qatar over Israel's strike in Doha that left lower-level Hamas operatives and one Qatari security guard dead, but missed Hamas's senior leadership. The apology was aimed at bringing Qatar back into ceasefire talks, but Netanyahu's mea culpa is being framed as weakness by hard-right members of his own coalition. We'll have those details. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu issued a rare apology this week to the leaders of Qatar over last month's airstrike in Doha. According to Axios, Netanyahu phoned Qatari Prime Minister Al-Thani on Monday while he was at the White House meeting with President Trump. In that call, Netanyahu expressed regret for violating Qatari sovereignty and for the death of a Qatari security officer during that September 9th operation. The apology wasn't just symbolic. For Qatar, it was actually a condition for resuming mediation with Hamas over a potential hostage release and ceasefire deal in Gaza, and it could clear the way for broader negotiations. The White House confirmed that President Trump hosted the trilateral call, saying he hoped it would improve relations between two of Washington's most important regional partners. As we've reported here on the PDB, Israel had tried to eliminate Hamas's leadership during that strike, but instead killed several lower-level operatives and the Qatari Guard. The operation is largely considered a failure. No senior Hamas figures were taken out, but Israel found itself in the international crosshairs, with Arab and Western leaders furious over what was a violation of Qatari sovereignty. The fallout has also complicated U.S. diplomacy. Hamas leaders were reportedly meeting in Doha to discuss a U.S.-backed hostage deal when the bombs fell, a move that infuriated Washington as much as it did Doha. And beyond Qatar, Arab governments with formal ties to Israel condemned the strike, raising questions about whether Netanyahu had jeopardized hard-fought normalization gains. Trump himself had pushed Netanyahu for weeks to apologize, with one source telling Axios that the president believed, quote, a simple "I'm sorry" goes a long way. Israel will also reportedly be paying compensation to the family of the slain Qatari officer. It's worth noting, Qatar has hosted Hamas's political leadership since 2012, serving as both patron and mediator in ceasefire talks. That makes the apology all the more significant, given Doha's role as one of the few regional capitals able to speak directly to Hamas's top leadership. Still, not everyone is welcoming Netanyahu's move. Members of his hard-right coalition back in Israel are blasting the apology as weakness, with some warning it could embolden Hamas and undermine Israel's deterrence. And now, behind the scenes, Israel's own security services are asking hard questions about the failed Doha operation. The Times of Israel reports that the Shin, Israel's domestic intelligence agency, is leading an internal probe into what went wrong. That, in itself, is unusual. Typically, it's Mossad that handles operations beyond Israel's borders, but in this case, Shin Bet supplied the intelligence and even recommended the use of smaller precision munitions. Investigators are now reviewing whether that choice allowed Hamas leaders to slip away unharmed. Unverified reports suggest the terror group's top officials, including senior figure Khalil al-Hayya, may have been in another wing of the building that wasn't badly hit. Every high-value target escaped unscathed, while 5 junior Hamas members and that Qatari guard were killed instead. Shortly after the strike, Netanyahu tried to frame the attack as sending Hamas a message, saying, quote, you can run, but we'll get you. But the Shin Bet inquiry suggests Israel itself knows that the operation fell short, and that gap between public messaging and private recognition is important. The inquiry is expected to look closely at whether Shin Bet's intelligence was flawed, whether its methods were reliable in a foreign theater like Qatar, and whether political pressure from Netanyahu's office played a role in rushing the strike. Analysts note it has also reopened long-standing questions about interagency rivalry between Shin Bet, Mossad, and military intelligence. All right, coming up next, the UN approves tougher international action to fight Haiti's spiraling gang crisis. I'll be right back. Hey, Mike Baker here. Let me take just a moment to talk about your personal finances. Now, the Fed, as you've probably noticed, has finally dropped interest rates, and that's great news for American homeowners. After all, expenses have been a major burden on families. Wages are flat, prices keep climbing, and for many, the only way to make ends meet has been to lean on credit cards. But that cycle of high-interest debt makes it hard to stay ahead. If you're a homeowner, I want you to call my friends over at American Financing. With credit cards charging rates around 20% or higher, you should look at the potential to use your home equity to save money. There's an easy path to see how you can finally put your hard-earned equity to work for you. American Financing can help you pay off that expensive debt, free up your cash flow, and keep your budget under control. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are saving customers on average about $800 a month. And if you get started today, you may even be able to delay your next mortgage payment. Take control. Call American Financing today. The number, 866-885-1881. Again, that's 866-885-1881. Or visit americanfinancing.net/PDB. Welcome back to the Afternoon Bulletin. I want to return now to a story we haven't covered in a while, and that's Haiti's security crisis, which continues to worsen. Now, the UN Security Council has authorized a new crackdown on violence, approving a more than 5,000-member international gang suppression force with expanded arrest powers. As listeners of the PDB will know, this latest move dramatically enlarges the original Kenyan-led mission deployed last June. That deployment was meant to field 2,500 soldiers, but actually deployed less than 1,000 thanks to poor funding. That effort largely accomplishing nothing and was set to expire tomorrow. The Haitian gangs, emboldened since the 2021 assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse, have since expanded their reach, controlling around 90% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and pushing kidnappings and rapes and looting into the countryside. Haiti has been leaderless since Moïse's murder, with the Haitian National Police badly outgunned and underfunded for years. The resolution, co-sponsored by the U.S. and Panama, was passed yesterday by a 12-0 vote, with Russia, China, and Pakistan abstaining. Really, they needed to abstain from something like that. Adopted under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, it doesn't just authorize more troops, it arms them with real power. For the first time, the force can carry out targeted raids, detain suspected gang leaders, and lock down key sites like seaports, airports, hospitals, and schools, all violently overthrown by gangs. It does make you ask the question, why wasn't the original deployment or mission given those authorities? In UN language, quote, neutralize, isolate, and deter gangs that terrorize civilians and undermine Haitian institutions. The new force is expected to number 5,500 uniformed personnel and some 50 civilians, funded through voluntary UN contributions. They'll also be tasked with stemming the flow of weapons into Haiti. The Security Council also directed Secretary General Antonio Guterres to establish a UN office in Haiti to provide logistical and operational muscle, reaffirming a February finding that the 2024 Kenya-led mission couldn't keep pace with security demands and had to be scaled up. The UN ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, hailed the resolution as offering Haiti, quote, hope, with the American embassy in Port-au-Prince amplifying that line in a statement, quote, the era of impunity for those who seek to destabilize Haiti is over, end quote. Panama's UN envoy said the mission could pave the way for elections and economic revival, while the head of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council called it, quote, a decisive turning point for the country's future. But as the Security Council welcomes the move, critics warn of déjà vu. China's UN envoy accused Washington of starving the Kenya-led mission of resources, dodging some $800 million in UN peacekeeping dues. In parallel, Russia's envoy went on to dismiss the new force as, quote, yet another grand title by Washington destined to fail, recalling decades of fruitless foreign interventions on the Caribbean island. Perhaps, given the Russian invasion and 3-year-long war in Ukraine, I don't know, the Russian envoy could just sit this one out. And so the urgency is plain. The Council has given the new force a 12-month window to curb gang violence. Whether it delivers stability or becomes the next failed chapter in Haiti's long history of fruitless foreign missions, that remains to be seen. And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Wednesday, the 1st of October. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And, of course, to listen to the show ad-free, it is very simple to do that. Just become a premium member of the President's Daily Brief by visiting pdbpremium.com. I'm Mike Baker, and I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool. Hey, Mike Baker here. I want to take just a moment to talk about protecting your hard-earned assets. Now, did you know that gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation, that's reality. And if a portion of your savings isn't diversified into gold, well, you could be missing that rising tide. Here's the facts. Inflation is still too high. The U.S. dollar is still too weak. And the government debt, well, is almost insurmountable. That's why central banks are flocking to gold, and they're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, and you don't pay a dime out of pocket. Just text PDB to 989-898 and claim your free information kit. There's no obligation. It's just useful information. Now, the best indicator of the future is the past, and gold has historically been a safe haven during times of inflation and global instability. So text PDB to 989-898 to claim your free information kit on gold. That's PDB to 989-898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.